Britain's youngest Euromillions winner labelled ungrateful cow as she opens up about Sam Callahan romance. Jane Park was only 17 when she scooped £1 million with her first ever ticket, and continued to moan about her winnings. Britain's youngest Euromillions winner was blasted by This Morning viewers today after insisting her stupendous windfall has ruined her life. Jane Park, who was only 17 when she scooped £1 million with her first ever ticket, was on the ITV daytime show moaning about how lonely she is with all her money. Speaking to Ruth Langsford and Eamonn Holmes, she said, "I just think at 17 I was far too young." Jane, who has bought a Beetle, Range Rover and BMW car with her winnings, continued, "I moved into a property but I was just so lonely. Yeah, I have family but I'd just be sitting alone watching daytime TV in the flat." Jane has recently started dating former X Factor star Sam Callahan, and she insisted her winnings have also meant finding love has been a struggle. She said, "I've got such a big guard for guys. Obviously I've been in previous relationships that haven't worked. With new guys I never know what their intentions are. It can be quite difficult." But when asked by Ruth if she was looking for love, Jane replied, "I've got my options open but I am seeing someone. It's very early days." This Morning viewers weren't impressed with her, with one saying, "Woe is me. If it's that bad being a millionaire, give it away, you ungrateful cow." This Morning. Another added, "Christ, that Jane Park is on TV yet again moaning about winning the lottery. Give the money away and get on with your life." This Morning. A third agreed, "If money has made you so unhappy, what are you going to do with the fees for all your TV appearances?" This Morning. Dean Lotowiner. This isn't the first time Jane has hit out at Camelot for allowing her to win such a huge amount of money. Speaking on Loose Women, she previously said, "I never realized how difficult it would be. I thought everything would be amazing. But, at times, it's completely different to how you'd expect." Despite confessing she's no longer planning to sue Camelot, Loose Women viewers blasted her. One said, "Won $1 million and now complaining and wanting to sue Camelot. Grow up." Loose Women. Another agreed, "This girl on Loose Women saying winning the lottery made her life a misery is a pea brain. Don't spend it all at once then, you idiot." A third agreed, "She can't seriously expect the National Lottery to be held accountable for her lifestyle. This is ridiculous." Jane, speaking in the same week she pleaded not guilty in her home city of Edinburgh to a charge of drink driving at a McDonald's, said, "At times it feels like winning the lottery has ruined my life. I thought it would make it 10 times better but it's made it 10 times worse. I wish I had no money most days. I say to myself, my life would be so much easier if I hadn't won. People look at me and think, I wish I had her lifestyle, I wish I had her money. But they don't realize the extent of my stress. I have material things but apart from that my life is empty. What is my purpose in life?" Jane added, "I think 18 should be the minimum age for winning the lottery, at the least. The current age of 16 is far too young." Back in 2013, Jane was a giddy 17-year-old toasting her win with Scottish fizzy pop Iron Brew because she was too young for champagne. She was working as an admin temp for £8 an hour and living with her mum Linda in a 2-bedroom flat on an Edinburgh council estate. 4 years on she feels she never really understood what difference the money would make to her life. Jane said, "My Nana Ann told me, you might as well have given me a gun. I was like, Nana, what are you talking about? This is the best thing ever. But now I totally agree." She was saying you can't give a 17-year-old that amount of money. Camelot, who run Euromillions in the UK, appointed an advisor to help Jane manage her new wealth. But Jane, who now owns 2 properties and calls herself a developer, insists it was only family advice that stopped her blowing all the money. She said, "I've read about other lottery winners who've just blown it all and I can totally see how it can be done. I was stuck in front of a financial advisor who was using words like investment bonds. I had no clue what they meant. Jane splashed out on treats such as the Louis Vuitton handbag she still carries. She also bought a Chihuahua, Princess, who didn't last quite so long. Jane said, "My dog stays with my auntie but I still go and see her. At the time there was too much going on. She didn't like my car and I didn't have time for her. That car, an £18,000 purple Range Rover, also failed to bring happiness." Jane sighed and said, "It was flashy and people were always looking at me. But it was far too big." And while Jane traveled to the US and the Maldives, she prefers Benidorm and Magaluf. "I don't go on holiday that much, about 4 times a year," she said. "I wait until my friends can go. And although I've been to the Maldives, I much prefer Benidorm because nobody is looking down at you. You can get as drunk as you want. In the Maldives, you can't go and get absolutely hammered." Jane had an 18-month relationship with a local lad, but it ended in a bitter row last year. She said, "I've had testy relationships and it's left me with a massive guard up. With the last one, I showered him with gifts. I thought it would make him happy. I bought him a Rolex, a car, clothes every week. I regret it all." Jane retains a weakness for shoes and bags, wearing her own Christian Louboutin heels for our photoshoot. But she says, "There's no point in going shopping all the time, you can only order so much. I get sick of it." Jane, who calls herself Jane Sexual Park on Twitter, also had £4,500 breast implants when she was 18. She admits she would have had more work if surgeons had allowed it. "I wanted a quick fix for my weight, but when I spoke to a surgeon he said I wasn't overweight enough to have liposuction," she moaned. Last May Jane was fined £110 for assaulting a nightclub doorman. Next month she is to stand trial for being 3 times over the drink limit in her BMW in a McDonald's drive-thru, a charge she strenuously denies. Speaking about the assault, she said, "It's my own stupid fault. I should have walked away from the situation, but I was young. I'd got all this money and got caught up in a moment." Jane parties about 3 times a week in Edinburgh and Glasgow with the same loyal pals she had before her life changed. She loves posting glamorous snaps on Instagram and Twitter as well as chatting about her beloved football team Hibernian. She gets irritated by thick online trolls. She said, "It's the usual stuff. You're fat, you're ugly. The worst was when I said I'd pay for the travel insurance for a young boy who was sick to go to Florida, and a couple of folks said I was just doing it for publicity." But Jane can still rely on support from her brothers and sisters, Roxanne, 27, Billy, 19, Gavin, 10 and Bradley, 1. She said, "They think my win's amazing. They're very supportive of me. But they are very protective too." Jane has moved back into a small flat with her mum who does everything for her, including her laundry. But she said, "It's scary how different my life is from my friends. When they say they're stressed about money they mean their wages are St. There's no one in the same boat as me, no one who really understands. I feel like I'm a 40-year-old. But has she ever thought of just getting rid of her winnings to relieve herself of the burden? What? Jane laughs incredulously. Nah. A Camelot spokesman said, an independent financial and legal panel was set up shortly after Jane's win and we put her in touch with another winner, who won at the same age, to share their experience. We have been in touch with Jane from time to time since her win to offer ongoing support. It is always up to the winners as to whether they want to take up that support.